Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. anticipator, plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 milli on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Well, my mic's a little bit in the camera there, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome to some Titan Esports playoffs action. My name is Jay Better. I am joined today, or tonight, over in the States, by Aussie. Now, our game here for this afternoon / this morning is Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers up against, GCS 2008 Nissan Altima. Is that correct?
You got it right. 100% correct.
I will not be saying that again for the rest of the cast. Shout out Korak, who did say it for the entire cast last time they were on here. Yep. But Oz, getting into our first round of playoffs, quarterfinals. These two teams met. Actually, we casted them the last time they met, I believe. And it was a close match. It ended up going 2-1 in favor of Bubble Blowers, in favor of Bloom Gaming. And yeah, it was an interesting match. Some here and there picks. But talk to me about these two teams. We were talking yesterday when we were writing some notes about some roster, but some potential roster issues here.
Yeah, so both teams have kind of really struggled to lock down their rosters and having consistent members across every game so far, which has played an impact specifically more, I think, for GCS than Bloom Gaming. Bloom Gaming seems to be able to rise above their roster problems, where I think Bloom Gaming really has only been struggling to confirm who their top laner is going to be for the rest of the split. But I think that should be resolved, hopefully, going into playoffs now. And as for GCS, it's really been kind of problematic around their bot side. And that has actually proven to be kind of a pain point for GCS as we're going to get into the draft here, but still going to waffle away. A lot of people aren't that interested in the bans. I'm a little interested in the bans, but for now, we'll keep waffling about the teams.
I mean, patch notes, right? I'm pretty sure it says down the bottom here 25.22. I'm pretty sure we're on 25.23. I'm pretty sure that's wrong, which there's a bunch of changes, right? I mean, we've been talking about for the last day or so about the new tank junglers from the top lane. You've got a bunch of 80 carry nerfs coming through. Caitlyn, one that, pun intended, did get headshot by the changes late game. Kai'Sa's early game significantly weaker. But already we can see here a lot of jungle prioritization in the bans. And it's strange to me because I think that from our research, both these teams can play the Bruiser 80 junglers fairly well, and none of them have been looked at here so far.
Silas ban from Bloom Gaming is picking Malphite in this draft. Or Alistar.
That's a bit worrying.
Or both. But it is giving Malphite a little bit here. Haumea, I think, has a pretty strong Silas, so I think the ban away is good, but I think the Wukong, tried, true, consistent, and a pain point of talking about some of the patch notes, which we'll talk about throughout tonight, has been the addition of champions to the roster pool. Malphite Jungle making his appearance last night, I believe, in Blue Water Aegis. Regardless, doesn't matter. And it got invaded, level 2. So not really confirmed that that's going to be strong. But so far, speaking of strength, GCS, the Zyra pickup has me head scratching, but the Sion pickup has been untouched and is still kind of the king in weak side top lane.
Yeah, very, very strong. Smolder answer here from Bloom Gaming, which is an answer, I guess you could say, into the high HP bar of Sion. But, I mean, I think we were watching a game where we saw Smolder into a Shogath, and it just didn't really get off the ground. You were saying HP stacking in these lower elo divisions is just so... What did you call it? You call it Thanos? I think I agree. Yeah, Trundle picked in to the Sion here. It does make sense, but, I mean, to be honest, kind of struggles into something like a Zyra, who can kind of root him, run away. Obviously, if Pillar catches Zyra, that's a problem. But the clear speed on Zyra, very, very strong. And when Trundle's walking forward to try to catch you, Zyra just gets kit down. Even if she dies, probably taking Trundle with her.
Yeah, it has a lot of damage, but again, some flexibility here. Wukong and Trundle can be flexed either which way. Also, we have seen Trundle support in the past. Not that I think Shark Enthusiast is going to whip it out this game. Zoe Banaway is just a respect ban from Watercat. But because of the 80 carry changes, Smolder has risen up quite a bit in priority in my beliefs, and so far I'm proven to be correct. It is a Cloudberry champion, especially now that he doesn't have like the default of the Caitlyn, who we previously just mentioned about it not being good at all. Zeri is also a champion that got buffed. Her move speed during her ult got doubled. per stack. So look,
Wow.
yeah, it's from 0.5 to 1% per stack. That's can be pretty significant. You hit like 9 auto attacks, you're getting the same amount of move speed from a Phantom Dancer, which is pretty nice if you consider it. But so far, the meatball comp is coming through for the bubble blowers for sure. As the Victor and the Galio locked in.
Oh.
Galio support, I think, coming through for sure.
Looks like it. Could be like a prediction of maybe a Zyra support, although... Oh, okay. Tahm Kench support, I guess, here with the Zeri, which is... it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of that with Zeri specifically. I think the Tahm Kench can't really catch up to Zeri to eat her, protect her as much. It's not a Jinx where Jinx wants to be sitting back, or a Senna, same thing. But, I mean, the Bubble Blowers here have a very... say one-note combo, right? They've got team fighting in spades, and they've got 2 damage threats. Obviously, Wukong and Trundle can do it, but they've got a Smolder and a Victor who are going to take time to scale. Not the GCS don't have scaling as well, right? Vladimir, incredible scaling. Sion, obviously. Zeri, again, the same. But I feel like low range, sure, for GCS, but they've got a lot more damage threats, right? They've got this triple damage threat that can absolutely insta-kill anybody, and I don't know, Bubble Blowers... I like their comp, but I'm worried that it's a little bit volatile as we, it's only first game. We're getting into our first game here. We've got a long best of 5 ahead of us, Oz. And I'll quickly ask you, because I think I really liked this. It's a bit meaningless to say, but Korak and who was it? DBZ Freak like to predict the soul. What do you think for this game?
Oh, but it's the snow map. So why not keep the precipitation on the rift? I'll guess an ocean soul. Why not?
I like it. I'll go with the mountain soul, because who doesn't like an unkillable Scion or infinite protections for Trundle? Nice little baby girl.
All right. We're still in the running.
We're still in the game, baby.
Still in the running. But I will say that your point in the draft, I think it is interesting. But in terms of volatility here, right? Like, Victor is going to get a free lane against Vladimir 99% of the time, barring any water cat like really messing up his like lane state. So you are just letting the Victor scale for free. You have no threat at all into Smolder this entire lane, so he's scaling for free. Because not like this Tahm Kench is going to be able to go in, because Tahm Kench... pretty good in the melee supports, but I'm quite certain that this Galio champ might have something to say about that. Because it's not so common in the bot lane, but Galio is just so strong early game, especially into melee champs, that does need to be a bit mindful. Will be the Ignite and Grasp coming through for Chewy, actually, which is actually insane.
Ignite, Grasp, Tahm Kench. But before we really get into the meat and potatoes of this set, Oz, want to bring our eyes over to this mid lane, actually, that we're seeing right here, that you and I are deciding. This is a featured matchup of this set. These 2 players are very important for these teams. Watercat, obviously, like quite a known entity around different leagues. In watching him play for quite a while now, Halmea as well. Had some pretty standout performances. I think that he also had some awkward performances on things like the Viego mid, the Yasuo mid, that couldn't quite get it done in some important situations. This is a mid lane matchup that, as this series progresses, is going to be super important for both these teams. Yeah,
and with Watercat specifically, right, a lot of Watercat teams have kind of stemmed around Watercat doing well. But as of recently, to highlight another player here, I think Cloudberry's been doing such a great job throughout this entire split, really. Making a name for himself, coming into his own a little bit. That is definitely a threat on the Smolder, going to be quite a big one at that, considering there's no way of like slowing it down here. But so far, back to the match where it is the quietest of quiet early games as we enjoy the nice little ambiances. He is dying to the wave.
I like that one, buddy. Take a base. No Doran's Blade Start. I guess the refillable pot just not enough, but talking about Cloudberry as well, on the other side, we've got Margin Hollow, who is, to my information, a sub. We did see Margin Hollow play the sub, fill in, as a sub the last time these 2 teams met, and his positioning maybe left something to desire here, as Chewy will
Oh, nice
Try to
sidestep.
find Shark Enthusiast, but yeah, really nice sidestep on the Tongue Lash. Should get the Bloom Gaming Bubble Blower squad back to their bubble blowing stations. But yeah, Margin Hollow, specifically on that Jinx in the game, we were looking back at that game. I remember specifically talking about how much Jinx needs to be played around in the team comp. And they had a team comp to do that, positioning and also some team play around the Jinx just didn't quite get off of the ground.
Yeah, I do like the look here from Lamppost, as Haumea is in pretty bad HP state here.
Does have flash, and obviously that W, so just forced to use the W, go into some mist, and go back to safety.
Oh.
As Watercat does do quite a bit of damage on the backside, as this is kind of what happens when you're playing Vladimir no TP. The level up should keep him pretty healthy, maybe call over the jungle if need for a push out, but no solo kills in mid so far, and the CS, despite this HP disadvantage, is going okay, forced into the Blood Mist once again, but should be able to walk away just fine.
It's interesting that we've seen Vladimir twice now. It is Fearless as Cody is going to be okay. But it just got nerfed this patch as well because it was bullying out top laners way too hard after the sustain changes. So I'm curious why there is like so many Vladimirs randomly popping up here, but Lamppost will go help Haumea shove out the wave to bail out his mid laner here, which much appreciated. So, oh my god.
Okay. Nobody just stands there, flash up, takes the auto to the face. Unfortunate from No Billy as first blood in a little bit of a comedic fashion is taken by Cody and GCS. Happy with that. TP should be able to get him back to lane, but we're talking Oz recently about how important the dragon stacking and skirmishing early game is, and later on into the game, Grubs versus Drake trades, Drake stacking, forcing bad outcomes or fighting over them just in general is for teams in all regions, pro as well, but these lower divisions are starting to pick up on this and play around it so heavily. Team comps are being focused towards this, and as we get into this series and playoffs, we've got this week, next week's off because you guys do Thanksgiving, the week after, and then obviously finals weekend. Something that we're going to keep our eye on as the playoffs progress.
Yeah, first Drake will be picked up here by the Bubble Blowers. A little bit of a faster back and a lane swap coming through for GCS. Well, I guess faster backing happening for the Bubble Blowers, but GCS opting for the lane swap means they are in fact going to lose the first Drake. But it will give them
no ocean.
Nice, yeah, no
I'm still in the running.
for me. Still in the running is you, but this top lane, right? Like this top lane matchup, the fact that the Scion is doing so well is nice to see a nice little train choo-chooing along the rift there with the Trundle. Is the Scion getting solo kill against the Trundle is pretty bad. Because it means he's really not going to have control over the lane until I guess maybe like you can turn out a solo kill, but he's so far away from doing that just the Tiamat now. So Trundle's really on the back foot at the moment.
One of the things that has kept Tahm Kench out of the meta recently has been the fall off of Fasting Center and the lack of ability to go Heartsteel, and just how important that item is in HP stacking for a Tahm Kench. But obviously in support, it's so expensive you can't get it. But we're going Grasp, and with the Ruby Crystal, we don't have to go into Heartsteel, but I imagine you probably do. Do you, is this build path from No Billy a mistake? Maybe you go Bork, try to get through some of the HP of the Scion of this of this Tahm Kench in the later stages of the game, or is -1, or is the Hydra just better for clearing in the early game? I'm interested to see if this goes the way that No Billy wants it to.
Yeah, and I think that specifically that the Tiamat is there to do one thing, and to quote a top laner, push, push, push.
Yeah, Cyclone's used on the Haumea, but he will go into the Blood Mist. Nice heal comes through. Duddy Brains just can't get the kill and will fall down. No, saved by the shield from Galio. Watercat as well, walking away. That was a lot of healing from the ult there from Haumea, and really nice ult from Shark Enthusiast to protect his jungler as Mama's called in. Shui Light Doesn't have dash available, but does have flash. Will be taunted and should have enough HP to get away from this even without flash. So there's some scrapping. Hold on, TP into mid, actually. The world's slowest TP as it's not upgraded just yet. Cody walks into the mid lane to try to clear some of this out. Unstoppable onslaught will be used, and Watercat doesn't have flash, so it nearly falls down. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of fighting heroes, but no kills just of yet. Cody will be able to walk away. Flash forward, no Billy, but the miss is good from Halmea. Good reaction time. And we continue to brawl almost to the death, but not quite.
First blood, or sorry, not even first blood. Second blood in this game, hanging by a thread there. Cody with a pretty interesting teleport mid. Does at least force out Watercat's flash, but in this top side, we kind of see the Smolder Galio still kind of getting the priority. Lamppost is here, though.
Is this enough damage here? Galio should do a pretty good job of clearing, and both of them do have flash. Looks like might just be a sacrifice from Shark Enthusiast, and a flash away. Dodges out on the root. That should be enough. Really nice peel and a flash away. Also, you get that important cooldown in the Zeri ultimate, which means that these grubs should be pretty easily taken by bubble blowers, as there's not really a whole lot of crazy team fighting right now. You know, you've got Zyra ult, sure. The Tahm Kench really needs some more time, and Zeri no ult, no first item. Is that Shiv Zeri? Is that where we're going?
It might just be. Curious to see what that's going to be, but we'll be grubs as well over the bubble players, and a big thing here as to why GCS don't get these grubs is they lane swapped way too early, giving the time over to the bubble blowers to just respond as well. And again, the lane is not that great for Zeri. Like, you're playing this like backfoot lane where you're playing against Smolder, which I think is kind of a wrong choice because Smolder is just getting a completely free lane. I think the Galio support is an excellent, response, but they did opt to pick Tahm Kench here. So you don't really have a lot of these priority moves and things, and now they're again on the back foot in terms of the neutral objectives, which has been a big factor in quite a few games here. Which, is it going to be the biggest factor this game? Who's to say? We are still only at 1 kill, and gold lead is about 800, so it's not like we're in crazy unreachable territory yet, but it is something to bring up nonetheless.
And shout out to production for I didn't read the message, but production has predicted an infernal sold this game, which we will see in about 10 seconds. You were talking about these neutral objectives for the bubble blowers, and if they get this Drake, that will be feats of monster slaying over to them. So GCS pathing up first to the dragon will be a really nice takeaway to A, deny the dragon stacking, B, deny the stacking of the monster slaying as well. Bloody Brains still on his clear as Nobility will take a decent chunk, but get traded back infinitely more health as Sion is a tank, by the way, and is supposed to lose in these matchups.
You'd think.
You'd hope.
Yeah, I mean, the thing here with Tahm Kench is it just looks so out of place, right? Like, I don't understand what the goal is. Cody is... Okay, I think it's just going to be an ult trade.
Yeah, we've got Subjugate here used out. Nobility just wanting to clear the wave and should be able to walk away. And here starts the Drake. Dirty Brains finds a Cyclone onto 2 in the backline, but there's not really any follow-up damage as Chewy Light eats Lamppost. Very nice ult. The knock-up from the Zyra ult will buy enough time to peel, but I feel like the damage has already been done as Halmea is being zoned away by Watercat. Half HP right now. Does still have ult available, but no flash, so a bit difficult to get in, and he's just still taking bad trades on the front side of the fight as there goes Shark Enthusiast, finds a triple taunt, and that will be the fight. The Zeri ult will do some, but nowhere near enough. The double kill for Watercat, and low health bars, sure, but all reading green for the bubble blowers.
Yeah, and again, the problem with this GCS comp is, so you got the Zyra out, but Zyra dropped ultimate, so how do you start a fight? You have no way to start without Sion, and Sion is committed top. Will be Cloud, which is very awful, I think, to see as GCS. As Trundle getting that Cloud Soul going to be very problematic. Wukong as well.
Yeah.
And Victor being able to kite himself away with just a quick drop of the ultimate is going to be quite impactful here. But GCS has kind of opted for 3 losing lanes here with the Zyra, so it's not like you can even really use your like jungle clear speed, and you have no way to start fights. Like, Haumea has to scale here is going to be weaker than Victor for a bit, and we see that kind of in the HP bars even before that fight kicked off. And now, like, again, you have no real way of starting the fight, and once you're kind of like chunked out and you've already used your ultimates, what do you do besides hope to God that Zeri carries you?
No Cyclone available here for Duddy Brand, so just walking up, faking that he's got it up, and pushes the bot lane of GCS away. But that is also Monster Slaying over to the Bubble Blowers. The gold lead is basically even. It's basically not important at this point in the game. You know, we're nearly 15 minutes in. It's what, 400 Esker gold, 2 kills to 1. But these neutral objective stacking is what is important right now for the Bubble Blowers, who have had domination on control of the map so far in our first game Oz. It's 2 Drakes and the 3 Grubs. The Herald is spawning pretty soon. Next Drake is 3.5 minutes away, and you know what? This is not the worst thing for GCS. Like, they do have decent scaling with the Scion, with the Zeri, with the Vladimir, but scaling on the other side is nothing to laugh at. There's no Billy trying to live through a dive here. Lamppost flashes away, no Billy as well, but that'll be a kill over to Martin Hollow as pretty well executed dive.
Yeah, but they're going to lose Herald off the back of this. Scion is backing here. Might lose first turret, and it might just straight up be the feats given over here for the Bubble Blowers. As Watercat hovering towards this topside river. And it will be the Oblivion Orb here early from Watercat. But looks like it is going to be first tower for GCS. So somehow, in an Emerald game, the deciding factor will be who will be the first to 3 kills.
Oh, there it is!
Oh!
It's a solo kill in
Okay,
mid.
I spoke it into existence. My fault.
Here we go. Let's take a look back here. See what happens is it's just too much damage. With the anti-heal, does he get stunned? No, just too much. Really nice spacing from Watercat, who just kind of puts him in the dirt.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just really not happy with GCS's comp. Like, sure, you have this triple threat carry, but this triple threat comp, but this Vladimir's having such an ungodly rough time here in the Victor lane. Why not put the Victor into your Scion? I mean, having him play mid here would be kind of tragic, I will lie, as a Scion, but still, you need something to get going for your Vladimir to have an easier time, because it is a win condition here, and it being on the back foot to a now 3-0 Victor is really, really, really rough for GCS now as we move into the mid game, as lanes phases are breaking down. And we are going to be staring at Soul Point here in 1 minute and 45, and it's not like that Soul's to scoff at either. It's the Cloud Soul, it's the highest win rate Soul. Like that, it's as good of a Soul as you can get.
It's movement speed. It's just a useless stat, you know. Like
Man,
no one really wants to go get Cloud Soul. Like, I expect Bloom Gaming to give up the Drakes here because it's just not that good. If anyone can't tell, I am joking. Movement speed is one of the best stats, if not the best stat in the entire game, as long as you can use it well. And there are some really, really strong members, like you pointed out earlier. Like Cyclone with Cloud Soul is disgusting. Trundle with Cloud Soul is really, really strong too. You spoke about the kiting from Victor, which, you know, kiting from Smolder after using ult, if he uses it early, is not bad either. And Galio likes it as well. So pretty strong at Cloud Soul game just in general. On the other side, not the best. You know, Zeri uses it amazingly well, but Zyra, Tom Kench,
Vladimir's going to use it great as well because he gets a free ghost out of it. But the problem is they have to get to it, and right now... Oh!
Hubris walks into the knockup, but there's Mum being used. Nice double taunt, but there's no real help here from the rest of the Bloom Gaming squad as Shark Enthusiast is forced to flash away, and you pull the ult out of Cloudberry and the flash out of Shark Enthusiast, so potentially an option to look. Galio right now is fairly squishy to the AD damage. The problem, there's not a whole lot of that on the other side right now. You've got Zyra and Vladimir, only the Zeri to really get AD damage on. It is 15 seconds onto the Drake, no Billy. Trying to go for a tower dive, but do you want this? It's going to be a 1-for-1.
It's a 1-for-1, but interestingly enough, Nubly will have that work. But yeah, they're now going to start looking at this Drake. Haumea already, again, can't step into the Victor lane without being half HP. Every time the camera pans over, he's just half HP. against the Victor, and it is going to get the strike started up.
The Herald in mid is going to push out GCS completely from the Drake as Watercat continues to lay into Halmea, who's very low, force into that W, and Watercat continuing under the tower. GCS trying to take down this Herald now, but Shark Enthusiast smells blood in the water and impersonating a shark, finds a taunt onto Lamppost, who gets insta-kill before he can even react. Exhaust on the margin hollow. This Herald should not crash. Thank you. But the Dragon should go over to Bloom Gaming. The health bars are so low, Halmea forced to heal up off the Gromp and has no access to the river at all. The only way in here, even if your jungler was still alive, is this Sion in top lane who's just kept himself with TP up in this top lane.
Again, it needs to be like a difference here in the lane phase. Like, again, we keep seeing this. Mom's going to be called for the mid lane, but we keep seeing this Vladimir unable. You're still stubbornly sitting here, just taking it instead.
Hello? Did I disconnect? Did Oz disconnect? Can I be heard? Going to... Okay, I think Ozzy disconnected. Hello? Oh, we're back. Hold on.
Hello.
We might be back.
Hello, I'm back. Hi.
Nice.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. As I was saying, Halmea is still like locked into this lane against Victor, but it's kind of self-inflicted. You don't have to put your Scion into it. The Scion is full armor, so won't have the best time. Watercat is low mana though, and they are looking.
Yeah. There is a Galio coming around the back end, and Watercat will be rooted up and should be killed before too much can happen. The Galio ult will come in, but the peel wasn't fast enough.
We'll flash.
The chase is on though. There's a Tahm Kench coming. Down the bottom, Halmea has a lot of healing here. I don't think Shark Enthusiast can get through that. Should be able to get himself away from the struggle. Could this be an Atacon pull? Would be very risky, but you're running out of time here. The Smolder stacks are stacking up. Victor as well. Getting pretty close. We got 166. Actually, that's pretty bad. At 20 minutes, 166 is pretty low. So you do still have quite a lot of time. The worry is this Cloud Soul. Atacon won't be pulled, however, for GCS. So thank goodness, because that would have been pretty risky, pretty rough, even with the pick-off onto Watercat, who is your most fed member, but hopefully GCS not pulling the trigger too early. They actually do have a gold lead, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, they have a little small gold lead that they have been kind of maintaining, but Sion is getting beat. Nice pillar.
He's getting bonked.
Yeah, he's getting bonked. Really angrily, actually. Nubily is just really mad about it.
Billy, I think you got more than you bargained for as Cody turns it around and gets the solo kill on his own. That's a counter matchup and also a tank.
Yeah. Sion is even more angry. And turns it back around, finds himself a solo kill. The interesting thing here is that GCS, their main AD carry, which... funnily enough, is Zeri, which is obvious, and the AD carry role, but is their only real AD threat here, but opting to build a Shiv on top of the Runan back-to-back. That is a very low damage Zeri build.
Bug Zappa Zeri over here.
And it is a little sketch here, because again, it will take Zeri a bit of time. Oh!
Halmea uses the ghost, but might be caught by the Cyclone here as Mum gets called in on the other side of the fight. Halmea flashes away over the wall, but Duddy Brains kills Ham before the ultimate goes off. Chewy does take a lot of damage, but it's all fake damage because he should be able to heal that up when she gets back to safety. Dragon is not up. Atacon is, but a bit risky. You've only taken down the mid laner, so it's a kill, but nothing else on the back end.
Yeah, and again, it's just so hard for GCS to fight anything. You don't even have a good pick comp. That's the problem. Like, what do you do on the side of GCS? Halmea is literally looking to flash over the Raptor pit wall to get something going at their mid-tier 1. Like, what do you do on GCS here? You've drafted yourself into this abysmal gap with Sion, who's your most fed member at this point. Perma side laning into the Trundle because, again, we refuse to put the Vladimir into the Trundle lane. I just cannot fathom as GCS, like, what you're supposed to do, you know, like, how do you play this draft? Like, this Tom Kench pick, I think, really dug them into this hole where they have nothing to do without Sion. Like, Sion has to be that member. But, very, very well-crafted draft here from Bubble Blowers, kind of recognizing that and keeping the Sion locked in the side lane due to the Trundle. Like, the Trundle doesn't need to be a team fight as long as the Sion's not there. Like, being able to keep the Sion out of the fight is more than impactful enough.
And I mean, it is that Heartsteel pickup for Tom Kench, and it's 23 minutes, 0 stacks on Heartsteel. Not a position you want to be in at all. We're about 24 minutes into this game, 6-5 lead the kills for the Bubble Blowers, but about a 300 gold lead for GCS. So very close, but it's not about the gold in this game, Oz. It's about the objective lead that the Bloom Gaming squad have amounted for themselves. And like you say, just the team fight advantage, the comp advantage that Bubble Blowers have in this specific game. Remember, we're still stacking up on this Smolder too. I imagine about 200 would be
he has
stack
execute,
for Cloud Break.
I think he has execute.
He has
I'm
it?
pretty sure. Yeah, because he Q Chewy and had the execute threshold. Nothing else is executed.
Maybe I'm blind. We'll have to look because the Dragon has spawned, Oz, and this is Ocean Soul here for Bloom Gaming, and it's being started up. There's very little vision. There's a blue orb right there. Sorry, Cloud Salt. I am mistaken. Thank you for correcting me. But the Dragon will be started up. Halmea trying to have a look in here, but keepies are available for both of our top laners. Mum is called in, but there's the execute. You are right, and the fight is just over. Halmea tries to do anything, get one kill, but he can't even do that, as that will be a near ace, a 4-for-0 in the fight. And it does say Ocean top left, but Cloud Soul and Atacant for the Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers.
Talk about a grand slam here for the Bubble Blowers. Just a complete wipe through the team fight there. Because again, Sion with ult teleport is still top lane in this match against the Soul Pool for the Bubble Blowers. And they're going to find themselves the Soul and also the Atacant on top of it. I think this one's done and dusted. GCS, I think, are tapped out.
Only 14 flowers on this upgraded Atacant, so not the most value from the flowers, but obviously it's still an objective to get, and you get the upgraded passive after the kills, the mini Jin E passive from those flowers as well. But yeah, this is a really difficult position to walk in for GCS, and I have to agree with you. Cody needs to do more. This is one of the strongest top laners in the game, and for the fact that the ult is, kind of patented first by kind of like the LPL Sion playstyle, where you push the wave, hover in the river, and then ult to join the fight and sandwich, pinch the fight with the knock up, the extra damage from casting it from range. I haven't really seen that at all. And it's at a position in this game where you've got nearly 3 items on this Victor, even despite the fact that he went Oblivion Orb. You've got upgrade. Yeah, that's just happening as well, by the way. Like, if we go have a look at how this happened, Oz.
I mean, well, Halmea chunks himself down to half off of just his W. And,
wow.
The rest of the half is done. And thanks to Cloud Soul, as I mentioned with the Victor Ultimate, instead of kiting himself away, he will be kiting himself forward. And is faster than Ghost and finds himself the solo kill there expertly, I will say.
I don't see the Cloud Soul value. I think that this is really not that good of an objective, to be honest. I think that, most teams would just give it. Because it's just not that worth a whole lot.
Again, last time that they played, right, GCS had this really weird Game 3 draft where it just really did seem like they were trying things, and this game in particular also feels like they're just weirdly throwing out, weirdly trying things, as Baron pulled up here.
A bit of a tough steal over the wall. Chewy Light will find vision of the Baron. There is still a Zeri ult as well. Lamppost puts the ult down, has flash available, so try to get across here. Mum pushed in. Let's have a look at this smite as it does go over to the Bloom Gaming squad, and first kill as well. There's the kill on the Sion. Chewy Light forced to ult the Zeri very early as Aquafearless Watercat doing such a great job of zoning away the real damage threat on the GCS squad. There will be the Tom Kench falling. Flash forward from No Billy. A little bit too much here as he's seeing a bit too much red off of his team getting that Baron. So they lose 2, but Watercat is the real threat here. So much burst. Watercat looking for more. Daddy Brains. And there is the ace for the Bubble Blowers as they tear through game one.
Yeah, this game is for sure closed. But most importantly, right, they had so much poke damage come through, and where is the one person who can carry the fight in Majin? Just sitting over the wall getting Victor poked. At that point, GCS, you have to full send. You're in a desperate spot. You're gonna lose the game no matter what you do, so you might as well. And Zeri might have picked up a quadra kill there because the health bars were so low between the base damage of the Lightning Crash and the extra damage that Zeri would have been able to do. For me, that's a full send angle, but Bubble Blowers will stave it off and find themselves a nice little purple buff around, or I guess underneath their character. Twirling around here for a little bit as, again, GCS's comp, I think, really is just the problem point. They have, again, no real way of forcing anything. I mean, Lamppost had a great engage there. Nice little flash forward, three-man route. Quite nice. Quite a spectacle. Just maybe 20 minutes too late, I fear. Not really fault of Zyra, though. Or not really fault of the player, just fault of Zyra. Haumea is, I wager Haumea will live 1 Q. Yeah. I think one more would kill him, so.
Oh my god. Yeah. You've hit that point now for the Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers where they're no longer blowing bubbles. Those bubbles are very deadly as Duddy Brains goes in with the Cyclone. Will be rooted up, but it's just too much damage right now with the Water Cat support from behind us. Let's see how quickly this Vladimir dies after this. Yeah, nice little double kill there for the Wukong. TP in from Sion to try to do something, but Baron is still on 5. Trundle doesn't want to TP in with his team to end the game, so it's going to be a 4 versus 3 here. Shark Enthusiast takes a good amount of damage and actually ends up dying.
Well,
Some not clean ends here, but man, those Qs do a lot of damage as Duddy Brains will force out the flash from Margin Hollow, who, like you highlighted earlier, has had a tough start to this series. Watercat, who has not had a tough start to this series, walking in, pressuring, putting the poke down as the towers will slowly, methodically fall. Nice redemption to heal up the members of the Bloom Gaming squad. No Billy walking forward, finds a pillar onto Lamppost, goes into Zonya's, but he's just dead. Watercat executes Margin Hollow, and that, Oz, will be game 1 of Bloom Gaming versus GCS as they go for an ace into the Blood Mist, but Haumea will still fall at the end. An ace for the Bloom Gaming squad.
Hi, bow on it. Nice little present there from Bloom Gaming over to GCS in game 1. In terms of their victory, is they wrap that one up nice and neat here for GCS. But I fear that, again, this GCS, I mentioned it so many times, but this GCS comp, what do you do? What can you do even? Because your Sion, who has a lot of draft stock here, you picked it on early on, and then you draft your entire comp in the way that you did, to then never utilize your only way of playing team fights the entire match. GCS, again, if this is a game where you're just trying things out, we are in a knockout stage, man. It is just game 1, so it's not the end of the world, but again, you have all of next week to practice things. Now is not the time to start trying new things, trying to theory craft things, because again, your back is against the wall. You've already lost to this team in the main split as well. So it's not like you have that to work off of, which also they lost, admittedly, to another really weird comp that I mentioned previously in that game, where they picked things like the Viego mid, and that didn't work. But if you're also going to pick these scaling lanes against the Bubble Blowers when you're facing Watercat, who does so well on the scaling control mages, like the Victor, like the Syndra, you're going to lose every single time. You need to get back into your own style and some gumption. I love that word so much, but you need to find some gumption because you just rolled over and died in this game, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy. That game 1 was boring, okay? Boring. Give me something.
I don't think GCS probably happy with that one either, Oz. The mid chasm in that game was very apparent to, I'm sure, the players in this game and everyone who watched. Watercat played an exceptional game, and I really think that in the bot lane, the sub in again from Margin Hollow, this team, struggling to fill a full roster, still having roster issues, changing it up. I need to see more from this team, more from the draft. We've got a bit of time here for GCS to hopefully review some stuff and come back for our game 2. We want a long series. We want an exciting series. I'll see if I can call up the script writer and get that for us. But we're going to take a short break. And when we get back, we'll be with game 2. See you in a minute.
Goodness.
Oh, we are in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some Olympus action. We were caught in the middle of a joke there off of air, but we're professional. We're back. We're locked in. But Oz, GCS going to have to be locked in for this second game. There's a lot of discussion we're going to have over this series about how this team can come back from what we just saw in that first game.
All right. I slammed GCS, so it's now time for me to be their lawyer. I'm here. Trusty Saul Goodman as your defense lawyer. You know you can count on me. GCS, we have to get Haumea like in a winning mid position. That's what I want to see. I want to see him in this like winning mid position, something that can either pressure the map, force Watercat to be uncomfortable. Don't give Watercat a free lane. Like, he is kind of like the Chovy of Emerald, kind of high glaze there. Not gonna lie, kind of high glaze. Not gonna lie. Okay, but let's really focus on that statement.
Jesus.
He really likes to farm. He really likes to sit in the side lane. He doesn't really like to go for these like skirmishes and roaming around a lot, right? Like, that's the Chovy playstyle. Don't let Watercat get to do that for free. You cannot play into the Bubble Blower's hands. Do not, like, they drafted what should have been, again, besides maybe the Trundle lane getting the priority over the Scion, which is arguable, right? Because we saw what happened in that game, but arguably two losing lanes, right? Or what could have been 2 losing lanes, but instead you answered back with 3 losing lanes yourself. So I'd like to see just a bit more forcing bubble blowers to be uncomfortable, right? Like, put them in these uncomfortable spots. Don't give the map to the Wukong. Like, you picked the wait, it's fine. It's fine. We got the Malphite. This could be the Malphite jungle. Now, again, we talked about this, saw this yesterday, where Malphite jungle got instantly invaded level 2 by Viego and almost had died. But GCS, again, putting Machin here on the Jinx, which last time that we casted it did not perform very well, thanks to Watercat doing some insane things on the Taliyah, but it will be the Ziggs lock in here, which has me feeling that it might not be Taliyah here.
This is a very emerald start, I'll say, for GCS. Bubble Blowers, really nice 80 jungle selection here. Very open-ended mid/ADC pick. Again, it can go either way, and I love the Rakan here. Milio, not a bad answer into that. You're going to have to play pretty well, but again, you are one-noting your engage right now. It is the Malphite or it is bust so far in the draft. There's an all-on ban away here. So we need more. We need more. I need more from the GCS squad. You've already got more engaged from the Bubble Blowers here. You've got Xin, which is really nice. You've got Rakan, which is one of my favorite champions in the game right now. I think not only is he really fun to watch, but he's incredibly strong and incredibly creative with how you can approach the team fights. But yeah, I need more on the engaged side from GCS.
Yeah, that was a big highlight from last game that they were lacking. Just any clear direction in team fights at all. Or just even some way to pick anyone that they didn't have. But Renekton might help that a little bit here. At least point and click if Rakan wants to go in. Or maybe a point and click snap engage onto the Xin Zhao before we can get his ultimate off. You have more than enough damage to get it done so far. And it will be Haumea dropped down to R5, so hopefully Haumea gonna get a favorable lane of his choosing. But the Alawi pickup is interesting, and it will be Morgana, so keeping the Morgana in mid lane there for Watercat. He has played it before in the game 3 that they won, unironically, against GCS. He did pick the Morgana, but it will be the Syndra pick, which I've talked about the Syndra pick quite a bit in the past. Into things like the Rakan and the Xin Zhao, if you have really good scatter the weak timing, it can really dishevel their engage, like their engage factor. And the Alawi, I think, really going to be focusing maybe more on the side laning. I will say the Bubble Blowers is not a comp you want to walk into. Walking into Morgana Ziggs is really difficult, and if Alawi does choose to teamfight this game, walking into an area that Alawi is already set up in is a little hard. Let's just cope a little bit for GCS and just say it's a little bit hard.
I don't think I've ever casted a game with an Alawi in it, so it's really fallen off. It fell off I know Tyler 1 was playing it a lot in solo queue last year, and then when the lane got wider, really hurt Alawi, hurt Camille as well, but really hurt Alawi with the tentacle spawns. This is it's a very interesting comp from the Bubble Blowers here. It's very pick comp style, with a lot of onus on the Ziggs getting it done, having abilities available, not dying. On the other side, it's a strange one. It's got like a dive identity with Malphite, with Renekton, But then it's got this peel helper, the Jinx as well. So I guess GCS comp has options, and there's not a whole lot of tank on the Bloom Gaming side. So, you know, you catch out Rakan, which is possible. You can insta-kill him with with Renekton stun. But Xin Zhao does such a great job of buying time for the kind of front-to-back style of the Bloom Gaming. As we get some nice little snow shown on our screen. Christmas is coming up. It's getting hotter over here in Australia, but for you guys, it's getting colder, some snow. We get into our second game here. Check in quickly to see if there's anything too crazy going on in the summoner spells. Nothing that really catches my eye just right now.
No, and interestingly enough, the Milio pick actually gets even more value because it is playing into the Morgana.
Ooh.
Nice flash away from Haumea, at the very least. And it is Malphite jungle, which we knew from the Renekton, but to talk a little bit about the Malphite, there's not much you have in the early game, as Haumea, again, really trading aggressively here. A lot of stuff here in the mid lane going on. Lamppost will get bound, but speaking of binding here, it's actually a really bad start for Morgana mid because you have no way of clearing the wave. So Syndra should get very easy priority. Lamppost is going to have an easier time here because it will be opposite of the Xin Zhao, but they will see that on a ward in terms of where Lamppost is starting. But let's see if the Bubble Blowers kind of have picked up the ability to kind of invade on the Malphite because early game is not that strong. Or if they're just going to go through and full clear that we also see so often here. But I suspect the bot lane will be quite quiet. And if anything crazy is going to come about, it's actually going to be in this top or mid, as highlighted matchup mentioned. Little level 2 engage here. Majin going to fall down to half HP, which kind of sucks, you know? Kind of sucks, but you have the Milio sustain, walking into another of the E, really taking a lot of poke here, Majin. I don't know.
Well, Haumea hopefully needs to do a little bit more here than the last game, and does have the tools to do so. I like your call out of the Milio against the Morgana. There's not a whole lot of CC. You know, it's Rakan, Charm, and Morgana Binding / ult, obviously, that the Milio can cleanse, which is, it's better when it's not a whole lot of stuff. Milio gets less and less value the more CC there is. So having one or two things that are very impactful catch mechanics, but allow Milio to get a lot of value in this game, as Haumea is caught by Duddy Brains, who will take a pretty decent chunk, has one more pot in his pocket, as Cody is rotated down. Duddy Brains paths over to Watercat, who will be able to get him to safety fairly easily. Wave state's not great for Haumea. Actually popped to the pot and is still basing. So maybe a bit of indecision there on what he wanted to do. Does end up getting the Dark Seal and then comes back, which, I mean, is that great? You're missing a lot of mana sustain. You've got no health sustain just for a little bit of extra damage. So really investing, hoping to get some better trades and obviously some kills there.
Yeah, Renekton not going to have a great time here in the top lane, as Illaoi is still in the variant of Dance Dance Revolutioning against just one button. If she hits it, great. If not, for the Illaoi player, you want to cry. And that is her E button. And so far, seeing the impact there against Cody, unable to really trade into her when the E has landed. Yeah, has landed. He did sidestep one early, but yeah, Cody, unfortunately, struggling in this lane early, which as a Renekton is worst case scenario. You'd like to be able to bully out.
Some trade there. On to Chewy.
Chewy hasn't back though.
Cloudberry took that TP, obviously, so with the health bar and damage will favor Cloudberry on this Ziggs, who, again, also no tier, no mana sustain, just straight up Dark Seal. So these teams... Who is it that does that all the time? Is it Knight who buys Dark Seal on like every single champion, especially Ari? I think it was, yes. Right? There was a conversation about that a little bit ago. Investing in some Knight stocks, I guess. Lamppost potentially getting invaded here. Electrocute Malphite as well. Not sure if I necessarily agree with that. Knockup will be found onto Lamppost, but because of the Dark Binding miss, Lamppost should be able to waddle his rock bottom over to his camps and continue his clear.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish. Yeah, we got to get some soul predictions in here. Won't be
All
the
right.
Infernal, so I'm gonna go with
That's
Hextech.
cheating.
I'm gonna go with Hextech.
What do I feel? Feeling boring. I feel like Chemtech. Not a great Chemtech game necessarily. I mean, it's good with Milio, obviously. I'm thinking Chemtech. Production, whisper in our ear. What do you think?
What's it gonna be?
He's muted. Not Infernal, obviously. We'll have to check back in maybe if production can write it in our chat or unmute and tell us what they think. But yeah, I mean another slow start, which is not uncommon, right? We were talking about game one. Teams really prioritizing the grubs, dragon trade, dragon stacking, team fighting around those, and drafting comps that allow you to do that, right? Malphite very much so in that vein. So it's not uncommon to see this happen. Obviously, the dragon hasn't been started. Last game, I believe that around this time, the dragon had been started and taken by the bubble blowers, and GCS lane swapped up to the top lane, still lost the 3 grubs. So not opting for that this game, but it still feels like winning lanes everywhere for Bloom Gaming. I mean, Renekton is on his turn in the top lane. Mid lane is kind of even, which is that really correct? You were talking about Syndra being able to do really, really well. We've got production here, also Hextech Soul prediction. So we've got 2 Hextech Souls. And Kalmea is doing okay in this lane, but I feel like it's not enough for how much this lane could be winning. And on the other side, like Ziggs Rakan against Jinx. And there's a flash in as Halmea will die here. There's not really a whole lot to say. He's just dead.
Yeah, flash away to try and predict the bind off the back of it, but Watercat has been playing this Morgana mid quite a while himself, and finds himself another solo kill. As a lot of poke in this top side as well. Nubali will, in fact, use the ult. Cody does have Dominus available, but is still getting slammed. Now, Nubali is pretty low mana here, so if Cody was going to look for something, now would be a great time. But with the HP state, I think maybe a little bit too uncomfortable, so we'll continue. Just sit here under tower and take the wave, as Nubali will back. But something that has been kind of a question for me about the Malphite is, what do you really do without ult? And so far it has been a whole bunch of farming your jungle. As same thing here for Duddy, but actually level advantage to Duddy currently. Thanks to the Scuttle Crab pickup, and it will be once again potentially grubs going over towards the bubble blowers with no answer whatsoever from GCS.
Olympus still hasn't hit that level 6 mark, so GCS not feeling very confident to go for this. It's Flash Force from Dotty Brains. Push away is really good, but Shark Enthusiast is here. The Crescent Guard as well will knock away Lamppost at a very nice, easy kill onto Halmea. Means that grubs will definitely be going over to the Bloom Gaming squad. And honestly, Oz, it just feels like right now in this set, Bubble Blowers kind of just outclassing GCS everywhere. They feel in control from start to finish of the game, and I'm really not sure if GCS have the tools to overcome that. They have engaged this game, sure. They've got Hypercarry with Jinx, but already Watercat off to a great start. I quickly want to add in here, ask for your thoughts on Electrocute Malignance Malphite in the jungle. Thoughts?
I won't touch on the rune. And more on the Malignance. I do think if you're going to play Malphite jungle, because your whole thing is pressing ult, as they will start the dragon now, but it is a little late, and Halmea is just in such a rough spot here in the mid lane that could be a little bit unfortunate. But I think Lamppost will actually find the first jungle objective over towards GCS this series. Yeah. Halmea? Oh boy.
Pushes back, but here's the stun. The Dark Binding will miss, but it'll just be a bit of an HP trade here for Halmea, who is happy that he dodged the Dark Binding, because could have been a potential Duddy Brain Zins out over the wall. But the dragon, like you said, Halmea dodges the Dark Binding, and it does get tagged by the Wind Becomes Lightning. So if Mega Death Rocket will miss, but Lamppost is on the chase here, rooted by the Dark Binding. Halmea's got to be careful, because walks into W there from Morgana. Should be able to walk away, but already this Morgana is, it's looking scary, Oz.
Yeah, it is. Well, Feat of Warfare claimed off screen, which we will get the quick little replay here. Cody is just going to get... actually chooses to fight here with the ult up.
Whoa.
And Cody just gets one-tapped. Dominus is not going to be enough to save him at all. And what a turn of offense is Halmea is being looked at by Shark. Shark is really buying into the Shark name there. Smells the blood in the water here, is really, really, really hunting for it. Halmea takes one bind here as well. It's fucking... sorry, excuse me.
Ooh.
It's cooked. Caught.
Find. Minus 500.
That's the one I get, I guess, I suppose. But Halmea does need to be careful here in the mid lane. As, my goodness, the Water Cat Morgana is showing up this match for sure. Nice cancel on both bases, actually. One with a Q, one with the ultimate there from Cloudberry. And again, it is just uncomfortable positions here for GCS. Bot lane really not having a chance to play. The Renekton not really having a chance to play on the top side. And Halmea here not having a chance to play in the mid lane. Yeah. Has put, again, Bubble Blowers... I mean, this is the biggest gold lead we've seen in the early game so far in 2 games. So, I am hoping to see maybe a bit of a skirmishy fight here from GCS around this next Drake.
Really nice engage from Shark Enthusiast. Smells blood in the water yet again. Goes around behind. There is Lamppost here who doesn't have ult available, unfortunately. It's just not up. So, Bubble Blowers will be able to get that kill onto the support. Give the kill over to this Ziggs, who is very close now to getting... Hold on, Lamppost. What are you doing, my friend? Flash forward, and that's a kill. Oh my goodness. But it effectively is a kill because you've seen the jungle on the map for this whole time, and it's continuously 3 winning lanes like we saw last game. And maybe this game, it felt like it shouldn't be 3 winning lanes, but it still is. And the Bloom Gaming squad coming up all green.
Yeah, and again, the thing is I mean, Lamppost on the Malphite really hasn't had the impact I'd like to see post 6. If you are going to pick Malphite jungle with Malignants, who still does not have Malignants available here, which does hurt quite a bit, but we'll be having it shortly, so hopefully the next ultimate will be reduced cooldown. But again, it's GCS kind of back to the scaling like comp, which we have seen not work against the Bubble Blowers the first series around, and then this series.
Oh man, it will be rooted up, and that'll be an easy kill. Shark Enthusiast gets one for himself, but hold on. Nutty Brains walks a bit too far forward there, gets caught on the ward on the transition, played over to GCS as well. There's a bit of an evening out in the gold lead on some important members, but you're still so far behind from these spikes. We've got no Yuntel from Jinx, no first item on the Syndra, who again fell again, 0 and 3, and no first item Malphite or Renekton. So we're still pretty far away from feeling strong. Lamppost,
oh no,
going for a lane gank here, doesn't have ult available. This feels too early. We have no flash on Nobilly, but again, spotted too early on that gank, and a lane top here from Halmea to try to avoid the Morgana. I don't know if Alawi is better though.
You know, I'm not sure, but at the very least, they will buy some Syndra some breathing room in terms of getting killed. Because she really shouldn't be getting solo killed in the lane unless you're eating too many E's. But level 9. Like, the Syndra is level 9 in this match. 2 levels down on both solo laners here for the Bubble Blowers. And the one thing I was about to say if they tried the gank on the Alawi is I have seen this horror story. We'll beat the Chemtech. No, you got it. You get it right. You guessed boring, so...
No, I said Chemtech Soul. It's not Soul yet.
Oh, it's not Soul. Oh my goodness, you're right. It's actually so late because Bubble Blower's taking both Drakes kind of like back to back.
You and Shiv still in the running. We're going Hextech Soul. Very likely could be. Cody will be rooted up by Aquaphilus. How much damage is this going to realistically do? The root will be there. Nutty Brains forces forward, and Aquaphilus will get the kill as well. As the Chovy of Emerald, as you put it, is putting on a very convincing performance going into later in these playoffs, because it feels right now that this second game will also go to Bloom Gaming. Here comes the ult from Lamppost. Will chunk out Shark Enthusiast, who goes back in the Super Mega Death Rocket. Doesn't do a whole lot. It's very nice, and Duddy Brains is now getting turned on, but Lamppost, is it enough damage? Not really. As Shark Enthusiast was taken down, Aquaphilus over the wall, needs to go big here. What can he do? Lamppost will be the first target. Flash forward from Duddy Brains, and Chewy will predict it. Aquaphilus will miss the Dark Binding, but you've pulled so many resources out of GCS, and the second Drake should, for free, go over to Bloom Gaming and this tower and bot.
And it now, I think, is denoting the objective bounties are available soon, which for GCS, unless you are playing a scaling comp, not what you want to hear this early in the game for sure. Second Drake will be picked over here by the Bubble Blowers, but what so will it be? I am very curious. Cody now gonna get rooted up.
Wildcat's very confident here. It's Ocean.
Well, Dominus is available.
Watercat may be a bit too far forward here. Does have a big shutdown, but even with the 1 versus 2, Watercat still wins. 5-0 now on this Morgana, as that is unreal.
If you check the items, you'll see that he has not paid the Merc Treads tax.
He has not yet. He's going to, but
so it does actually allow for you to combo your Q and your ult, and it is now finally being picked up here. But what kind of irks me is that Haumea, has had a bad lane, right? Like, it's really, but now you're also sacrificing your, another member as well on your team, who, albeit, is probably even better in the mid game. So, as Nubly is going to get quite a big chunk here onto Haumea, at least half health. Never mind, is able to walk himself away. Scout of the Weak stun was a little bit too lengthy there. But the thing is you're sacrificing your Renekton in the process. Yeah, this is the damage I was expecting, by the way. Yeah.
Is he dead? Oh my god. You know what? I haven't seen Alawi in a while. This looks like Tyler 1 playing Alawi. It does look pretty terrifying. Lamppost hovering in the wings here, waiting to start the show, but wants to press that one button, and Willie walking forward into the mid lane now. Let's see, what can he do? He'll walk away.
Really scared, but what are you scared of? You gotta do something. Again, you're losing the map, and it's GCS on the back foot here, much harder than they were last game. As Cody, I think, is dead again. As
Merctred's tax has been paid as a TPN and blocks with the minions. Dominus has been channeled as there is multiple members of GCS chasing down Watercat who doesn't have flash. Gets stunned up. Who is this shutdown going over to? It will be shut down over to Haumea. Very big gold injection there. Lamppost unfortunately forced to flash away here as the Mega Inferno Bomb misses just slightly, but that's a pretty big shutdown given over to the Syndra, and it's much needed because still so far, Bloom Gaming feel completely in control of this match.
And I think they're going to continue to do so by getting this mid-tier 2 because it is Grub Ziggs. As they're collapsing now here in the mid.
Renekton on the chase. The Grand Entrance will knock up Cody, and the Battle Dance will get Shark Enthusiast out of murky waters into some happier space. Nice flash away from Cloudberry, but that's also a good pull away from Cody too. So now Lamppost should be able to land onto the Ziggs, who is flashless. We've got 2 minutes on this Drake. Remember, it's still 1 apiece, so we're pretty far away from Sol, and the first one was pretty late too. So both teams happily can give this over. I think if you're GCS, you should be probably giving it over. Your main character, in my opinion, which is Jinx this game, who's had a very quiet game. Really, I haven't seen anything from this Jinx despite that 1 kill earlier. You've got Yuntal, you've got a BF sword, waiting on in the Infinity Edge, which you should be pretty far away from. You can happily give over this Drake and try to cross-map, get some farm on this Jinx, and I really think it's a mistake. This is what we saw when Margin Hollow played Jinx last time, where you just walk forward, you're forced by your team to fight when the timers aren't great. You've got 2 items top, 2 items mid, working on that third, 2 items on the APC, 2 on the Zig, so very strong position for the Bloom Gaming team.
Yeah, at the very least, though, unlike the previous Margin Hollow game on Jinx that we casted, he's not 1-8.
That's a good
Seems
start.
will actually miss the scatter of the week, so it goes down to half his health. Paid the
There's a lamppost engage onto Cloudberry. Will it be enough? Yes, it will.
don't
The shutdown goes over. Oh, Mountain Hollow nearly does fall down. You would have loved that shutdown over onto the Jinx. Instead, it's onto your Malphite. Atacana spawn in top lane. It's a great pickoff, but what can we get? Nobly chasing out the reset from Margin Hollow. This is a really nice position to be in for Bloom Gaming. You lose your APC, but Ziggs has TP. So you're basically going to be the same reset timer despite there being a kill.
And
this
Cody
is
finds a solo kill, yeah. I mean, it's just going to come down to Watercat. Oh, really nice flash, actually.
Nice flash.
Cody has had enough of this Morgana. He's like, I'm so tired of not being able to play. And puts her back into her place in the fountain where Cody thinks Watercat belongs. But the thing here is GCS really not able to get much going around good timers here. And a potential trap laid will be canceled now with Drake spawning up. And they are on a ward, so they will see it. But having at least one Drake buys you 5 minutes. And I said I was going to be GCS's lawyer. And I will go ahead. Oh my goodness. What is that damage?
Oh!
What is that damage? Can I get my point in, Cloudberry? Thank you. If it does come down to a team fight where, you know, the Alawi isn't necessarily set up or split pushing, GCS have so many good team fighting tools that I think is kind of lacking from the bubble blowers, right? Like, they don't really have this kind of like consistent team fight. They kind of need to win it all at once. Otherwise, it can run awry for them as Shark.
Shark
Oh, they're
enthusiast.
looking.
Gotta be careful here. Cloudberry, no flash on him, and
Nice.
there's the Super Mega Death Rocket. Really well timed in place, but hold on. Here comes Watercat, and he wants blood. First kill on the Margin Hollow, the second kill on the Chewy. The Dark Binding will miss, but Duddy Brains is around the corner. Chewy Light will be able to walk away potentially.
Oh.
Dark... It's just too much. Watercat, some missteps earlier with some unfortunate 1v1s, but in these team fights, you want to team fight tools from Bloom Gaming, and Watercat says, hi, that's me. And now we take out a gun.
Yeah, it will be the Atacon start here. No ultimate from Lamppost. No one else really around, but Watercat with an excellent teleport. Kind of pulls back Bloom Gaming a little bit here in terms of, you know, kind of locking back into the game. Game's not over, but they will find themselves a pretty hefty Atacon here. Well, I'd say hefty, but in reality, we have been kind of getting these like lower kill games, so there really shouldn't be that many flowers. It is going to be 14 for GCS. I'd guess probably around 25 or so here for Bloom Gaming.
I'm going to guess 30. 33.
Oh,
I
yeah,
win.
very nice. Yeah, very nice. You do win. As my point collecting co-caster here. Gotta get it. Gotta make sure.
I play for points all the time. Putting down my other caster as much as I possibly can do. Playing for points here in the NA grassroots tournaments. That's very important. But yeah, I have to say, not something that we've had a chance to point out. We were talking about, you know, Watercat and Harmea, you know, our kind of featured matchup we were talking about in the mid lane, but this Bloom Gaming squad, the synergy between Duddy Brains and Watercat, the jungle mid for this team, has been outstanding. Duddy Brains has kind of gone a little bit quiet through this game because, you know, not the highest kill participation. Has been a lot of solo kills for Watercat, and no kills, you know, 0, 1, 4, very low participation in this game, 1 death. But when they're playing together, it is terrifying to see happen. They play very synergistically. They seem to be very quick on the same call, and that's really what you need going into the you know, this quarterfinals, and hopefully, you know, for both these teams, obviously only one can go through, but going forward into semis, into finals, this is something that is very, very strong. We spotted that ward, didn't want to clear it, but that's okay. Yeah, it can be very important, and honestly can win you games to have your jungle and mid play so well together. And I think that Shark Enthusiast has done a pretty good job of supplementing that engage trio together.
Yeah, and again, as they're going to rotate their 6 up top, Cody is looking for
There's
something.
more than just Cody passing up here too, so he'll find the first stun on the Cloudberry, who'll get rooted, but is there anything past that? No. Maybe needed to wait a little bit longer as Lamppost did have ult and was rotating up, but a really nice root out from Watercat will buy enough time for the carries of Bloom Gaming to walk away. Still a minute on this next Drake, which will be sole point if Bloom Gaming get it. So you can, again, give this if you're GCS. You do have Infinity Edge finished for this Jinx, but I'm worried about this Morgana. There is so much damage being dealt out. You've only got armor on the side of this Malphite. You've got, there you go, Sterak's now finished for Renekton. So that feels okay, at least. We're at all 2 items, but you really need to get onto Watercat and shut him down before he can tear through your team comp.
Yeah, Haumea does hit the double scatter of the week. Still stacking up those splinters. So that's going to be impactful a bit later, but we'll be soul point spawning in here for 30 seconds, excuse me. I think the bubble blowers should probably just opt to give this one, like, oh my goodness, the the root damage there onto the lamppost is actually pretty impactful. But regardless, I think GCS might try to fight this.
Watercat is feeling very confident right now with the spell shield available. Nearly has flash. There's a blue orb that'll spot him, a TP in from Nobly. I don't believe that was seen as well by GCS, so they don't know who's here. They have no vision. There's a root hit, and the pull from the Soul. Lamppost goes in, but doesn't hit anybody as Cloudberry flashed away. And Nobly walks forward. So much damage on the front line, but in the back line, Shark Enthusiast gets taken down. Is this an overstep? The health bars are so low from GCS as Watercat tries to do more. Duddy Brains walks forward, flashes away from Haumea, tries to get more. There's the Wind Becomes Lightning. A double kill on this Alawi. Can we get more with a triple? Yes, we can. This potentially could be more, actually, as a nice kickback from the Milio stops any potential pentakill. But what could have been a Dragon Give Oz has turned into so much more. The breaking open of the base, the Dragon still being taken from the Bloom Gaming side as Duddy Brains does that. And Baron on the table too if Bloom Gaming want to go towards that.
And Cloud, the excellent flash away from the Malphite ultimate, stops himself from getting picked. And again, this GCS comp is just disheveled. You have Haumea and Cody kind of off on their own, getting stalled out by Shark, so can't really like help Lamppost on his own engage, which ultimately was aiming for Cloud, but Cloud utilizing the flash was able to get himself to safety. So there were no real targets here for GCS, and the biggest issue now is your Jinx is something you're kind of relying on to carry you through these fights, but the bubble blowers are just so ungodly far ahead that your Jinx has no space whatsoever to even walk up, because all it takes is just the Xin Zhao getting black shielded, and your Jinx can do nothing because the Jinx is not like, it doesn't have enough items. As look at this damage, and I talked about how impossible it was for GCS to walk into the bubble blowers, and it's paying off. It paid off in the last fight. They felt like, or in the last fight at that Drake, they're like, yeah, we have to try and do something, but weren't able to find anything. And now this Baron, they are opting to give the Baron at the very least, which they should have done for the Soul. But exactly how do you walk through this Morgana, the Ziggs poke, as GCS? You can't. So you need to try and find like different ways, different angles of playing the game, because walking at them in a straight line is not ideal.
Oh, Watercat, that's an aggressive TP down, but it's being matched as well here by Cloudberry. Do we have enough time here as Watercat is taken down instantly? Cloudberry gonna find one with the tower shot. How many more can we get? Is there a redive option here as Cody flashes away from an auto, I believe, but Haumea tries to get something. This has gone so wrong for GCS, as that could have gone so well. It could have been so many kills. It will be an objective bounty tower. In the meantime, the top side of the map is being completely broken open by Bloom Gaming, as they already got that mid inhib. Now looking for the top inhib, sorry. Shui Light gets knocked up at the grand entrance, but won't fall down. Forced to flash away, however. It should just be this top inhib and then a walk away something I want to mention too, something LS talks about quite often, is how much better Xin Zhao is with enchanters. And you and I, we agree and disagree on different things that LS says, but I'm a kind of believer in that. I think Xin Zhao looks crazy with something like that. And I feel like Morgana in this game, in these team fights, is kind of filling that role with the Black Shield, like you mentioned, is a great call out. How can you stop Dirty Brains walking forward with this Black Shield?
Well, that's an answer GCS need to solve in the next, I don't know, maybe minute, maybe 2 minutes. We might go to this Soul Drake, I think. But Haumea... Okay, when it becomes lightning, he's gonna miss. But I was about to say, GCS might not have that much time left, and I think grouping around this Alawi is a choice.
Can we take it down? Dominus is pressed here. Here comes Lamppost. We're 4-man stacking on a Nobly. There's the ult on top, and a shutdown as well over to this Jinx. But on the other side, Haumea trying desperately to defend this remaining inhibitor and inhibitor turret from the Baron enhanced push of the remaining members of Bloom Gaming. The inhibitor will fall as Haumea doesn't want to sacrifice his life. Triple inhibitor game for Bloom Gaming as they walk in for more. The first luck running will miss. Shark Enthusiast or the Super Mega. Oh my god. The bomb there just barely missing. Nice flash away from Haumea, but game hangs in the balance here for GCS as they desperately try to clear the wave here, and there's no engage as the unstoppable force from Lamppost has already been used in that top side to get the kill onto Nobly. Oh, this bug. Great.
Please no.
So this means that Bloom Gaming won the game, and we've been kicked out of Spectator because Riot loves patching the game.
Yo, but wait, pause, because technically this replay is over, is 3 minutes delayed, so technically GCS can win. I'm not gonna lie, that's some insane cope. Let's talk about the good things from the Bubble Blowers. I think that game, the Morgana pick worked. It worked so well. We talked about the synergy with like Dirty Brains, between Watercat and Dirty Brains, and it paid off. The Xin Zhao did look to be quiet in that match in terms of stat line, but it's just the sheer threat that the Xin Zhao has, like just the mere fact that it can walk at the Jinx with the Black Shield. So the Jinx, who should be awarded some kind of space with the Renekton and the Malphite, really not awarded any space. Cloudberry on the Ziggs just absolutely going insane in terms of the amount of damage. It has just been so ridiculous to watch. 1 Q landing on the Jinx and just 3/4 of her health gone like that, forcing out multiple flashes. Again, I think GCS, they have got to get out of these like weird scaling comps. They need to find something to where they can play the early game. And it needs to be something a little bit easier, I think. Like trying to play these things like the Malphite jungle, which you can't do anything until 6, which we have seen. And even post 6 has looked very weird. And I think a talking point that we brought up for this game was, is it really worth it to put your playoff chances to moving forward on the back of a champ that just got buffed, that may or may not be good, has not been seen competitively at all, because, again, the patch is very new as of this week.
Yep.
Is it really worth it to risk losing games because you're not comfortable on the champ or don't really know what to do? And so far, Malphite that I've watched, not doing too hot, I will say, but again, it has been the Bubble Blowers blowing open this series so far, which kind of disappointing. Much closer matchup in the regular season that I was hoping GCS was going to have these moments, but so far they're being completely shut out.
I have to get a check in here. I believe, if production can let me know, that the game is over. Bloom Gaming did win that game. I've seen that bug before. Unfortunately, not the best. I'm sure Riot will fix it up fairly quickly. They fixed the spectator bug with streamer mode when that was happening, and that one was worse because you didn't even get to watch the game at all. At least we get to watch most of the game. But yeah, I'm going to go with the notion that Bloom Gaming is up 2-0 right now, and I agree with you. I think we need some more agency from GCS. They really haven't had a foot in this game at all, and it's, you're against match point. You're looking out at getting. Oh, we have the end up. Okay, I'm ready as soon as the end is available, to go back. But just change it up, right? You need to draft something more aggressive. Give me a different style. Give me, a Jarvan Oriana look. Go take blue side. Try to get something first pick here. God, go Draven Blitzcrank. Go Draven Pike. I don't know. Something that's going to allow you to stack these dragons on your own, give you prio, try to win the lane. But here we go. We're back in. As we have a quick look here at how this ended. As back into the siege. On the Bloom Gaming squad, able to end here. They do try to look in. Lamppost has taken quite a bit of damage. Halmea a little bit on the other side, but the waves are being thinned out. We do have 20 seconds of Baron remaining. This is the last wave. Crescent Guard is used, and Dirty Braids can't find enough on the engage. There's a really nice Dark Binding that will find onto Margin Hollow. Ooh. Oh my god, hold on. The Ziggs have been shot down, but is it enough? I don't think so. Lamppost takes a bit of a stumble there. The Super Mega Death Rocket won't get enough. Nobly desperately trying. Look, Jesus is putting up a really nice fight here.
Oh, they're trying
Cody
so
walks
hard.
forward. They're trying so hard. It's just not enough. Healing will come in here. Nice Black Shield. Honestly, if GCS wasn't down so much gold, maybe it would be enough. This fight would have been really nice, but the health bars, the wallets, just too much. Halmea will take a stumble here eventually. But there is a lot of minions on the Nexus. It is a bit of a unfortunate way to end that game. GCS, again, they kind of go the whole game, and that's when they make their final stand. That's really where they're taking their most aggressive team fight when the game is over.
And it's not like... So the first game, it makes sense, right? They have no real tool at all to do anything. But this game, you have things like the Malphite ultimate that you can levy. Like, when he was posturing around mid to, look at picking off Cloudberry and Shark Enthusiast around the Herald timing, but not doing it. Why? You're in a losing position. You need to try and get something back for your team, and that's a perfect opportunity to do something proactive to increase your chance of winning the match. But you're just... It has just felt like GCS are just... Like, their last breath of life has already been, breathed in this match. And that's only game 2. Now, nothing has been indicative of tilt or anything. Both teams, I think, are pretty mentally resilient, as we saw in their series when they were head-to-head. So, not going to wager that it's anything tilt. I think that they might have just backed themselves into this too much of a pensive playstyle just out of the blue, right? Because I think GCS has been able to perform so well, as I just jump scared myself there. Should have put a warning up there for... Yeah, I was really into my points. I was really leaning forward, but... but yeah, we're going to catch a quick break here, and we'll be back in a moment.
And we are back for our third game. Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers lead the series against GCS 2-0 right now. It has been a dominant performance from the Bloom Gaming side. GCS really struggling in these early games to find angles to fight, to find any real foot in the game, Oz. And losing in a playoff like this 3-0 would be heartbreaking, a disappointing exit for a team that contested Bloom Gaming in the head-to-head regular season. We both want to see more from these two teams. Sorry, from GCS.
I was like, man, Blue Gaming, you really want to see more from them. They've been putting on an absolute masterclass of a series so far. But yeah, I think it would really suck for GCS in general. I think them being so close to overcoming Bloom Gaming in, the head-to-head and the regular split gave them a lot of hope coming in to this match, but not really able to have that same success here. But let's give the flowers to Bloom Gaming, pun intended, as they have been having a phenomenal set. Every single player here, I think, besides Nubili getting solo killed, funnily in top against the Scion early game. I think every single person on the Bloom Gaming side has been playing so well. Watercat, I think, really has been popping off. I know in the Victor Vladimir lane, it's a little bit easier for the Victor to kind of chill, especially in the earlier stages. And Cloud having a phenomenal game on that Ziggs last game, which was kind of overshadowed by like the Watercat Morgana, who was performing really well, getting solo kills. But the damage that the Ziggs was able to do was massive, and it will be the Pantheon first pick. And while we were talking about agency, Tristana might be able to provide that in the early game if you can jump on somebody.
Yeah, very aggressive bot lane start here. Would love to see that continued up. Braum Band could be a Leona angle here for the support. Very nice from GCS. Kind of a bit obvious, I'd say. Not a whole lot more you're banning Braum for here. But Bloom Gaming have the option to pair with mid, Talia, Ari. Going the Sivir here instead with Bloom Gaming. I guess good with the spell shield, right? Can protect the AD carry from the engage from the Leona. But pretty short range. Have to see if that goes okay. Taking with the Alistar as well. You don't have to do that because support's already picked. You could go something else, but I'll opt in to go with the Alistar here.
I mean, why not pick support here? Because they banned something like the Alistar or something that you wanted to play. Would be kind of a bit problematic here, but don't hate the Alistar. I'm not entirely attached to it, but I don't hate it. I think J4 being locked in here for GCS puts a lot of pressure onto the Sivir to position well and not get caught out by the cage. But that being said, again, when we are picking something like the J4 for the side of GCS, which has been a factor for Lamppost in the past, or, just kind of like these bruiser styles, is GCS are in this position where they need to find something to do early game, right? Like, they have been kind of struggling and looking really lost to the point that with the Bubble Blowers kind of playing into these like more scaly comps that are kind of just chilling in the early game, which is, their forte. They really like these like styles of comps with the Smolder Flex, things like the Victor, the Cinder here for Water Fearless, but it will be Aurora.
It can't be, it's banned. One of these is a mistake. Have to see what the change up is when we find that out. But that or Bloom GCS have we're allowed to pick a ban champion once in the set, and they're taking it here. Veigar will be the selection, I assume, from Bloom Gaming. And the last pick here will be the Poppy into Leona, into Jarvan, into Tristana. Pretty decent. So it's Orianna bet. I was going to say Orianna for GCS would have been better. The Aurora is quite nice, but the cage from Veigar could catch. Oh, I mean, this is putting all of your... We want them to not go out with a whimper, with a bang instead. And I think GCS agree with this draft. If you're losing, you're going down hard.
Well, better to go out that way, I think, on your own terms than just kind of like playing scaling versus scaling and then you misplay something and then you're just out of the game. So, but it is the Bubble Blowers back at it again, scaling, kind of the tried and true method here for Watercat with the Veigar pick. He's kind of one of the only remaining Veigar players I think we have in Emerald that will consistently play Veigar regardless of how good or bad it looks. So happy to see that come through for Watercat. And again, more attention on Bloom Gaming as once again, they're up 2-0, having a very two dominant back-to-back games against a team in which they very well could have lost to in the regular split. And looking like a genuine threat here, like a very, very genuine threat, like Titan of a team going through the playoffs. Other games, we obviously aren't
say that
able
again.
to watch. Titan. Those who know. Titan Esports, baby. Olympus League, Titans, yeah. Yeah, we got like the triple, triple pun there as we load into the game here. We're waffling, it's kind of that time. We're waffling, everybody's waffling. And you know who else is waffling? That Poro in that train. He's having a time of his life.
Choo-choo! Poppy in the jungle. I was thinking about this because the Poppy, I wasn't able to say it, but because Poppy is useless into set, could be flex potential. I think I agree with Nobly going up to the top lane, having a bit of a better time, putting Poppy into the Jarvan. Has again, bit of a better time into the Jarvan than necessarily the Pantheon does. But yeah, this is a kind of all or nothing draft here. A lot of engage, very little, massive late game scaling as Duddy Brands walk in, chunk down lamppost, and despite some comp benefits for GCS, Bloom Gaming continue to be dominant in the map pressure and show that they want to end this in a 3-0 fashion with some aggressive ward starts. Obviously, doesn't necessarily prove too much for the game, but they're looking to walk in.
If I'm correct, I think Bloom Gaming has done this ward setup every game so far this series, and I think as well as the series we casted them in, that they do go for these like aggressive ward placements to see where lamppost has been starting. And there really hasn't been a response from GCS, at least this game. No wards available against the Poppy. Poppy is starting the Raptors, but there are a lot of topside vision here for Bloom Gaming to see that J4 early. So if this J4 manages to find a gank somehow, I will be sorely disappointed for Bloom Gaming considering the amount of information they have.
And the lack of information on Duddy Brains where his start is. There was a ward over the wall just then from Harmea, so we'll know now where the start is, so that's good. But yeah, I agree. Something that happens throughout your whole set. It's not the... how do I say this? It's not the most happy thing to see, I guess, when a team can't adapt. Hold on. Cody just finds a solo kill right at the beginning of the game. Nice flash prediction from Cody as we want them to go out with a bang, but maybe they're going in with a bang, Oz, because that is a very nice start from GCS.
Wait, New Police has Ignite. Wait, this is much worse than it actually should have been. I'll hold that. Never mind. Just some trading in the bot lane.
Headbutt away.
But thankfully the set doesn't shove the wave in that fast, so he doesn't actually lose all that much thanks to the home guards. But still, Ignite here coming in for the Pantheon, and you're losing the 1v1 against a Ignite-less set who is gonna build Cull.
Yeah, definitely not a good omen for Bloom Gaming in the top side at least, but like you said, Nobly has been the weakest part of this team during this series so far. So it is okay to see Nobly go down in the early stages of this game. I mean, we recently saw, I think you were the one casting it actually, a set who got off to a really good start and kind of took over the game. Now, is that going to happen in this game? Yet to be seen, but so far a good start for Cody. I think that having your top lane win in isolation and allow your Jarvan to impact the map against double immobile carries is a really good start to the game for GCS, but it's going to be decided more or less on these dragon fights. The same thing we've been seeing all series and a lot recently in pro play in the tier 3 grassroots leagues as well. Very similar style over every single game. We know what we're looking out for. It just comes down to how well these teams can do it. So far it's been bubble blowers, but GCS, can they do it?
Yeah, will be the Raptors invade from both junglers. They will just be handshaking the Raptors from one another. And something I am a little bit worried about in terms of Cody is he had the chance to have quite a bit of impact on the Scion, but didn't really, because he just was so stuck. As actually force out the flash in the mid lane here. Oh my god, never mind. Almea just decides to wake up the series and essentially gets it done himself. Like, a little bit of help from Lampost's damage, but realistically, that's all Almea.
And we wanted GCS to not roll over even if they were going to lose, but GCS say, screw that. We're not losing at all so far. That is aggressive from the mid laner of GCS, who has been handled so far this series, stepping up when it matters most and giving some back to his lane opponent.
Thankfully, right, Almea is down in CS here for the Vigar, and Vigar is still going to scale, so it's not the end of the world for Watercat, but in terms of GCS, that really should go to help kind of repair their mentals a little bit, you know, give them some hope, because again, and if GCS are like gonna be able to like make these kind of plays, like where was this earlier in the series, right? That is that question, and I have asked teams this so many times on cast. If you can play, you know, you can play like this. Why are we like defaulting into like these like weird smolder comps, right? Like if you can play with agency, play with agency. Don't be on the back foot, because when you're playing against a team that historically plays those comps, the smolder comps, so well, why are you going to just give them time to do that, right? Like you should kind of press your advantage and press the aggressiveness up against that so they don't have a comfortable time scaling. And we see the dividends paying off here for GCS finally in Game 3 where they're down 2-0. With this Aurora, with the set playing, you know, as well in the top side. So hopefully it continues. Watercat, no flash, actually.
Watercat again, and this will just be a death. No flash, Cage is down, the kill. Okay, Lamppost, my man, you didn't need to auto that. The auto was being channeled, but Cody, hold on. A little bit too far forward here. Went for the proxy, I believe, and will be maybe taken down here. Doesn't have W
the healing
available.
is insane, by the way.
Yeah, the low HP passive healing is just so much, but the nice stun from Duddy into the wall will take down this set, and he lost quite a lot of time in the top lane actually farming there, so no TP. That will be impactful in the gold generation in top, but already it's feats of warfare over to GCS. They take the first Drake. A completely different look in this third game. You're down match point. You have to reverse sweep this series if you want to continue your playoff hopes. And, I mean, if you want to start a game like that, this is the way to do it.
Yes, sets as well, losing some time, so is losing a great advantage here on the top side. I do believe did try to dive because the ultimate wasn't available. I think it wasn't. I think was trying to dive Nubly, but Nubly maybe with an excellently actually Cloudbreed with the spell shield going to be able to get enough distance away from Majin. But the biggest thing here is again Almea is winning in the mid lane, which has been the first time this entire series, which Almea has been such an impactful member here for GCS's wins that having Almea, you know, firing on all cylinders this early puts you in a great spot, and we're seeing that in terms of the objectives. Drake going down very early here as first Drake for GCS, as we will miss out on the soul prediction, but oh well, we got bigger things to talk about. GCS decided to show up and play, which is a great omen for the viewers, because, you know, you want to, omen, wrong word.
Hold on. Nice headbutt in, but here comes Chewy. Duddy Brains as well as the ignites on Margin. Hollow has barrier and flash. There's the flash out. Do we have any follow-up here? Duddy Brains tries to go onto tower, knock up as well. The barrier is really well timed. Hold on, this is a turnaround. Duddy Brains nearly falling down there on the other side. Really well played from GCS as it continues to look really good so far in this game for GCS as the Grubs have also been started up. So everything going in favor of GCS. That'll be 3 over. And you were talking, Oz, just earlier about how Maya, it's a really interesting time.
Oh, nice delivery. No way.
Away from Nobilly, but that was really well played from Cody. A slight stumble earlier in the game with that tower dive, but locks in again. GCS on top.
Yeah, GCS now will pick up the third grub as well. I was like, man, it would be really weird to just give up this other grub, but They find a top play with it, and Cody once again puts himself in a great position to start winning this match. We'll pick up this plate as well. So even more gold going over towards Cody, and Lamppost has come alive. 3 of the 4 kills so far in these 9.5 minutes he has participated in himself. And again, I pose the question, where was this earlier, right? Like, you can play this way. I've seen you play this way. It's what frustrates me the most about teams is I think they bait themselves into certain styles and trying to counter us. Actually, they don't find anything with this play, I think.
Billy gets the ult, the movement speed from the enhanced E. Here comes Duddy Brands as well, but I think you're right. 3 members of GCS. 1 flash has to be spent, but a lot of time again in the top lane. You've given away from Nobily, who doesn't have TP. You're losing time in bot, and GCS are able to walk away. The thing was, they're talking about here is that where has this been for the series so far? They're able to bring it here so far in the beginning of this 3rd game, this important game. You have to continue this form in this game. Can you maintain it? But not only that, can you maintain it for the remainder of this series if you want to come back? You have to keep your mental strong, but not only that, you have to keep your foot down on the gas pedal if you want to continue this form forward. The next Drake is in 1 minute. And GCS, with that Drake, will secure feats of warfare for themselves. As up in top lane, Cody doing really nice damage, but the Ignite is out.
W though.
Duddy Brains, that was pretty well played mechanically from Duddy Brains. As Bloom Gaming hear us talking, they say, hey, we're not out of it just yet.
Yeah, Poppy, Duddy has been playing Poppy quite well this game, all things considered, but gank in the bot lane.
Nice headbutt away from Shark Enthusiast, who will be knocked up and stuck in the cage. The unfortunate Solar Flare will miss. Really nice flash from Shark Enthusiast as they narrowly avoid a 3v2 there. Bloom Gaming reminding us yet again, you're going to need to do more than just have a good early game if you want to win against us. And Shuey Light finding this out the hard way takes a pretty decent trade, but hold on, Shark Enthusiast walks way too far forward. Cloudberry has flash, but no mana. Here comes Duddy Brains in the bot lane, who see what he can do here. Aqua Fearless gets pulled, and the cage is nice to peel himself away. Meanwhile, in the bot, looks like nothing has happened just of yet. Watercat does have flash. Chased by Cody. Does he have E available? It's a long cooldown on this ability. He thinks he has this solo kill, and
W gets it.
He does indeed.
Yeah, really well played. Man, Cody, well, I mean, has been tied to a few ganks, all things considered, but finding a solo kill onto the Vygar is actually incredibly impressive considering just how impressive Event Horizon can be into the set. But VLP Drake started up here for GCS, will be their 2nd Drake taken in this match, and will actually be the second Drake they'll get all series. Margin is quite low, but I think they're gonna get the runaway call here and back away. As yeah, this is excellent. Every single lane now, outside of some CS numbers, is up in terms of like kill participation and etc. Nice Event Horizon. I mean, again, pretty low, but it's okay.
We'll have to see how this game continues to go with the dragon stacking. That is, again, feats of warfare over... Sorry, feats of strength over to GCS. Bit of a minute point, but don't know if I agree with the Eclipse first on Jarvan, just with how strong Sundered Sky is. It's kind of what brang these AD junglers so far into the priority and draft, and I just disagree. I don't think that it's worth going this game. I don't see a situation where you ever don't go Sundered Sky on something like Jarvan, especially into kind of this like long-form team fight. You know, you've got the AoE damage from Sivir. It's going to take a while to chunk through. The same with Pantheon. Like, the only person who's one-shotting you realistically is the Veigar. And you're going Mertreads, you probably have enough time to go some more magic protection later if you really want to. I'm just not a fan, but Helmea will take a decent trade on the other side. GCS so far have had a very good start to this game, but again, they need to keep it up. They need, you know, Herald, they need more Drakes, and so far they want this fight as Margin Hollow goes in. The ultimate will miss again. And the stun is back here on the Margin Hollow, who's taking quite low. Cloudberry doing a lot of damage on the top side. Cataclysm has been used as well. Duddy Brains won't find the stun. Knock up from Lamppost onto the 2.
Uh-oh.
Cody will find 1. Unfortunately, the Keeper's Verdict will nullify this play convincingly. We hold it, actually, because he wants the fight instead as Archophilos walks forward. There's the stun and the kill. Bloom Gaming now on a tear back. GCS started off good, but again, they need to continue it on, and they just can't do it.
And GCS overplay in bot lane as well. Leona goes out like dice there. Machin, I think, just really, really struggling to connect. Thanks to the disruption coming through from Shark, but even in this topside play as well, Cody not really able to just kind of getting kited around back and forth. It's really unfortunate. Lamppost, being as squishy as he is, thanks to the purchase of the Eclipse, means he goes down so early on top of that, and Haumea not really able to find the Aurora like one-shot damage, as it is going to be the Malignant's purchase here, so not the Ludens. Solar Flare though in the mid.
There's a Solar Flare onto Watercat, and that'll be a kill here. The first one, Nobly coming forward, trading back on. Duddy Brains is around the corner here, getting some movement speed, a nice knock-up as well, as there is a double kill. Duddy Brains continues to be the silent hero of this series. It's been Watercat on the kill feed, but Duddy Brains' plays this game finally will net him some kills, and Bloom Gaming continue to say, we are not out of this game. We want a clean 3-0. It's the 2 Drakes lead for GCS. Cody will be able to get this tower. Nice ult in from Nobly. Will unfortunately mean that he'll have to lose that tower, but is it worth it here for GCS to make these trades?
I mean, in terms of gold, no, because they're also down in gold. So far, it's really not been panning out. They, of course, the objective lead has been kind of big for them. But in terms of gold, right, like, they are kind of starting to tumble here. Nice E from Nubili as well, to avoid the true damage from the set W there. But, again, you are playing into a scaling comp as GCS, and your comp is kind of bent around winning this mid game. And when you're down already 1,500 gold here in the mid game, as we start getting into the more skirmishy things, you know, the Vigar is going to start coming online and doing damage. 6 stacks on the Roa now. As Sivir also working her way towards 2 items. Like, 80 carries are essentially even. CS lead here for the Sivir does push her a little bit ahead in terms of gold. But in terms of itemization, about even here. As Haumea is looking for some more poke. Will miss the Q though, so will be the end of that trade in the bot lane. But Duddy has been having a phenomenal game on the Poppy. Has been kind of everywhere. 4-0-1, or 4-0-2, excuse me. Picked up that second assist. So the Poppy has been getting a lot of value this game, and even though the J4 has had a pretty alright early game, I think in the mid game is really kind of struggling in terms of value. Is now
Haumea caught, doesn't get pushed into the cage there. We'll use the ult, but is that where you really want to be? He's able to get away. Very nice. Not able to get a kill on the other side, but Watercat will probably have to base as the dragon spawns up in the top lane. Cody continues to give the hands over to Nobly, but the dragon, the stacking will be now denied from GCS as they opt instead to go for the Herald. Oz, I have to ask you, again, I don't love pandering about builds all game, but Malignant's Aurora feels to me like it really puts a stopper onto the Aurora one-shot potential. I feel like there's no situation in which you're not going Ludens, maybe Leandries, but even then, like, Ludens is so good on her. What are your thoughts? I'm really not a fan of some of these builds for GCS.
I think the Malignants, if you're going to skirmish a lot, is more impactful because you get the ult CD, which is, you know, probably the most impactful thing that an Aurora has in her toolkit in terms of those skirmishes. But you have to skirmish a lot. And in the meta that we're currently in, right, like, you're really only fighting over objectives every 5 minutes, which means, in theory, you should have your ultimate up every single objective, right? Like, there's really nothing crazy going on in terms of the way where we're just perma fist fighting, which I unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately had to cast a game that had 90 kills in 30 minutes. So here's the Malignant stacks. Let's come through.
Well, there's the ult. Flash away from the Solar Flare. Haumea on the chase, but Duddy Brains is here. Hex Flash over the wall. Nice spacing on that Zenith Blade. We'll find the knock-up. Do we have the damage here? Here comes Shark Enthusiast, and Lamppost has joined the fight too. Not enough damage to take down these first targets, but Watercat now the target of the aggression. Mayor on the other side taking a decent chunk too, as there comes Cataclysm here, and Watercat will fall. TP in
Teleport.
now from Cody. The double
Grand
knock-up as
Sparkle
well from the Pulverized. Here we come in with the ult as well. It's a fist fight in bot. Another one taken down as Nobly will end Lamppost reign in this bot lane. Forward stun here as the ult goes forward, but the health bars are so low, the flash Pulverized, but the shutdown onto Nobly. It's reading GCS here as Bloom Gaming desperately try to make that fight work. They bring so many members down. The Steadfast Presence will interrupt the Zenith Blade, but Cody wants more. And the W will take him down. A beautiful team fight there from GCS. They break open the bottom tower as well. And Bloom Gaming felt in a pretty decent position, but now the gold lead back in GCS's hands, and maybe it's Atacon too, actually.
Do you actually get the Atacon before there's real contest here? You don't have HP or damage for this. But they are going to try. Machin is finally now walking through. Does actually rocket jump through in. And it is going to be a contest here, Jack, because I actually am very worried for GCS.
I'm a bit worried too. The health bars are low. The Solar Flare will stun out, but Shark Enthusiast has been taken down. Haumea. The health bars are low, and so is Atacon. As it is secured, but will the fight be enough for Bloom Gaming? The chase is on. They've already taken down 2. There's the 3rd as well, and it is kind of this classic Atacon throw. What do you lose, though? Baron is not available yet. You're still 2 minutes, so you don't lose a whole lot. Some health bar, some gold. It's 4 do fall, but just this mid tower, I feel like that... I mean, I know 4 die, but it feels like it could have been worse. I've seen some horrendous Atacon throws, even in pro play. It's not the worst thing, I'll say.
Well, yes, I have seen worse. It's actually the 5th is about to die.
This is pretty bad. This is still pretty bad. Nobly take down Lamppost. Shark Enthusiast will live. He'll live, but the tier 2 won't fall. So again, it's not the worst, but it's still not great from GCS. They take an amazing fight in bot, rip the Atacon a bit too early, and Bloom Gaming take the gold lead back in their hands.
See, the thing is, right, like, I'd agree with you in most scenarios, right? It's really... I have seen infinitely worse Atacons, don't get me wrong. But the gold most critically going over towards the Sivir, who has been having a little bit of a quieter match, but that is what they're banking on, right? Their Sivir has been doing so well here in this match so far that the Sivir getting the gold is where you want the gold to go, right? The Vygar now with the Rabadon is going to be scaling up 10 stacks on the row, so that's completed. So the scaling here for Bloom Gaming is starting to come across online. BF Sword towards the IE for Sivir coming through. Tristana having the IE already is quite nice, but again, if the gold went elsewhere, it would have been a little bit better, but 2 kills over to Cloud is very scary, so GCS are not really going to run away with the game just yet.
Really love this second item on Lamppost as we approach this 4th Drake, as Shark Enthusiast takes quite a bit of HP trade. Duddy Brains walks forward and finds a stun, but there's the Aurora ult. Pantheon ult on top. It's a lot of colors going on. Sivir free hitting in the back. Here comes Set into the backline. Onto Shark Enthusiast though, and Cloudberry is just unleashed. And the fight is so winning for Bloom Gaming. Cody enters the Herald. Is he going for the tower? No, he's going for the leave, I think. I'm not sure if he knows where he's going. He'll be out to safety here. It's not the most bloody fight in terms of one team winning over the other, but Bloom Gaming continue to deny the dragon stacking. The Herald gets no value, and I was just about to talk about the fact that Lamppost has Herald, but doesn't have Sundered Sky. If he had Sundered Sky, which he does have now in base, so it feels awkward. Sorry, you know. Do you want to give that Drake and maybe wait the next one? Do you give some waves over earlier to allow Lamppost to base for the Sundered Sky? The Herald's a bit useless, and then the unchecked Sivir in the back, plus this Veigar damage is just too much.
Yeah, Event Horizon gonna get more and more and more and more value the more you're fighting in these in the jungle, in the river, when you are kind of playing this like in-your-face comp. As speaking of Event Horizon, it gets again some value here.
There's a Poppy coming down here. It's flashed away. There's the Cataclysm. Are we able to get in? Dirty Brains goes in. Does he have the damage to continue out? No. Cloudberry around the corner. Pops on the hunt, actually, to try to get the chase going, but there's no hunt here.
Well, they find a pick-off on Watercat. That's been their blueprint here at the very least at the start of the mid-game, right? Picking off Watercat has been going very well for them. And they do so again. But at the same time, even though they are picking off Watercat, picking them off is going to start meaning less and less if you get nothing out of it. And we are getting to that point where one pick-off like that around a timer that doesn't allow for you to do anything with it is less and less impactful. Like you are getting basically nothing out of it outside of the gold. As Majin will pick up mid-wave here, but Baron has spawned in, so a pick-off. Speaking of,
Chewy Light caught. Solar Flare will be used, and he'll flash himself away from the 3-man of Bloom Gaming that was threatening his life. Like you mentioned, Baron has spawned, and it is 2 Drakes each. 16 to 13 lead the kills for Bloom Gaming, and about a close to a 2k lead. Maybe a 1.5k lead if you squint your eyes a little bit, but not enough for Bloom Gaming to really feel confident in the lead. Like I said, the objectives are equal as well, so it comes down to these fights. It is 3 items completed, however, for Cloudberry, who has remained unchecked in these fights and in this game entirely. Right, has 0 deaths despite the early pressure that was coming out from this Tristana in the bot lane for GCS. And you have to think, where are the ends for GCS? Cody on this set has had a phenomenal start to this game. We saw some solo kills earlier, some very good laning from the set, but Nobly potentially called out here. Will force the TP in from Watercat as it's pulled in. The fight's kind of split away. Grounded, actually, from Margin Hollow, who will use the ult to get away, but now Bubble Blowers are on the chase here. Here comes Siva. Here's his AoE damage, and it's just too much into the backline, but there's really nothing that GCS can do here. Cloudberry remains the villain in GCS's story here, as this is a bad position to be in. Baron going over to the Bloom Gaming squad. Most likely, Lamppost won't be able to contest here. We wanted GCS to not end their playoffs with a whimper, and I think that is what's happening here, but still, it's looking good for the Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers.
As, again, in terms of bubbles being popped, it is GCS's, with Cloudberry just going so insane. 5-0-5 on the Sivir. They can get nothing going. They can't find a way to get onto the Sivir. And they look for this really awkward pick on Nubly, who is pretty close to the tier 2 tower. And it's an over chase here from GCS. They lose the Baron off of it. And again, the Sivir completely untouched. 3 items now. Whereas if you look at the disparity in items here, this poor Tristana working on her 3rd. And it's not the IE. The IE is already purchased. This is a Navori purchase coming through that is taking so long here for the Tristana. And now, look, Watercat has snuck himself up to level 17. Where if you look across the way, Haumea just now picking up level 16. 1 level being attributed over by the Roa, but still, for how rough of a game Watercat has had, it doesn't seem to phase Bloom Gaming at all, because in Cloud we trust.
Hopefully in this gank we trust for GCS. Lamppost trying to help out Haumea. There's the Cataclysm. Nobly does have flash, but chooses to stay in and fight to the death. He's really just buying time. If he can get this kill, it would be huge, and he does get the kill as the siege on the other side of the map has started up. It's a bit slow.
It's a double!
There's a double kill!
There's no way that's
hold
real.
on! Watercat just got a solo kill in mid. This game might just be over right here, Oz, as they start to break open the base. Nobly on the weak side, winning out. The bottom inhibitor broken open, and the only 2 members left of the support and this set top lane. There is no wave clear left. It's taking a bit of a time to break down these towers, but Bloom Gaming, eyes on this Nexus. Break open the second inhibitor. Nobly doesn't have ult. Sorry, does have ult to join, I believe, and could. Believe he should, but he won't as the engage comes through here. Now comes the Pantheon ult. We are looking for the end of the game. Chewy Light forcing away the members of Bloom Gaming. The respawn timers are just up now, but the last Nexus turret has broken open. The triple knock up there from Lamppost, but it's not enough. The health bars of GCS are falling down, and Oz, that will be it. The series goes over to Bloom Gaming 3-0.
You know what? I'm going to quote Kobe on this. Are you kidding me? How does the game end like that? What are GCS doing in the top lane, pushed up that far, trying to kill Nupli, who just says, you know what? I've had a rough series. I've had a rough game, especially on this Pantheon. And then somehow, against all odds, manages to double kill both of them. And the game is over essentially right then and there because Aquapulus, or Watercat, more commonly known, just finds a solo kill onto the Tristana of Machin. I'm flabbergasted. I'm completely just shook by how this game ended because GCS, you know, they lost the Baron. It wasn't great. And in just a snap like that, the game is completely over. And it's once again Bloom Gaming and Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers just, again, I guess gift wrapping that L over towards the GCS 2008 Nissan Altima squad right before Christmas. You know, you're saying, here's your present for your off season, as it will be GCS taking a break here.
Yeah. Thanksgiving's coming up for you guys this coming week, and I can tell you, Bloom Gaming are thankful for their Pantheon there. That was a very interesting play in the top side, I will say, but congratulations to Bloom Gaming. 3-0 is a very dominant performance going into playoffs, into semis now. I'll have to see who they're against a little bit later. But again, condolences to GCS, who did put up a fight in that third final game there. It was very close. They had potential to win a good early game, but will be unfortunately exiting the playoffs for Olympus. That'll be it for Titan Esports here. I've been Gebetto. Hang on. There we go, has been Oz. And we will, again, have a good Thanksgiving. We will not be here next week. It'll be the week after that where we will return for the semifinals in Olympus, hopefully for some banger matchups. Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you next time.